Hello friends, today we are going to discuss an important issue that is related to the rights of a particular community. Supreme Court has ordered that there must be a review with respect to the petition that it has received. This petition has been in the regard of the intersex rights. It is about the recognition of their dignity without any kind of discrimination. This is what the community demands. Let us delve further into it. So, Supreme Court reviews intersex rights in India. First of all, what has happened is that the three-judge bench has been referred to in this review by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has found substance in the petition which has demanded for such kind of rights, and therefore such a review has been planned. The second thing is there has been practically legal invisibility of intersex. You would have heard about the Nalsa judgment that came in 2014. What Nalsa judgment did was understand and recognize. It basically gave a recognition, a legal recognition to the transgenders, or they tried to categorize them in the third gender. However, such a legal recognition was not accorded to the intersex, or rather we could be right in saying that they were considered part of the same category. So basically, intersex is something that is legally invisible to the governance documents, right? The third thing is, and the very important one, is that it raises constitutional questions. The constitutional questions whether there is equality, whether there is prohibition against discrimination, and overall where there is right to life and personality development of these community members. First, we need to understand what is intersex and what is transgender. Okay, what is the distinction between the two that legally has not been recognized? Okay, so the thing is that intersex is not equal to transgender. Okay, one is related to biology, okay, and the other is related to the identity of that community group. Okay, we could say gender identity is what is said when we define transgenders. Okay, this is the core of definition of transgenders. But while defining intersex, it is the reference of biology that we have to refer to. Okay, understand this, that gender identity is social and psychological in nature. It is social and psychological in nature, which means that the person who is transgender has what is very important, a choice for himself or the herself or whatever pronouns that they use, right? And they have got the legal recognition also in 2014 judgment, Nalsa judgment case. But with respect to intersex, these are not choices that they are making. Understand this, that the gender, the sex, is divided into two, okay, male and female. So this means that we recognized, or rather the governance recognized, only binary, that is male and female, only two, right? After that it introduced the third gender, right? But there are some people in between and they are biologically distinct because they have the differences in chromosomes, hormones, or just the anatomy of their reproductive organs. Okay, so that differentiates biology, where they don't have a choice, to be classified into this binary classification. It is something that was accorded to them by nature itself. It exists within the chromosomes, hormones, and is represented by the anatomy of theirs, right? But gender identity is something that is based on choice. So the whole point of this petition is to understand that whether I should get such kind of a recognition or not if I belong to a certain community, right? There is one more grave issue that we must discuss, and that is related to the problem of gap. There is a gap in Indian law because it does not classify them properly. There is no proper classification because it focuses on gender identity. It focuses on gender identity, that is something that is based on choice, while intersex is something that is decided by biology. And just because you cannot fit into two neat categories of male and female, you are not recognized. That should not be the norm. Okay. The second thing is documentation crisis. For administrative convenience, there has been no such recognition, and therefore any kind of document would not mention the vulnerability of these sections, right? If they are not recorded, this means their vulnerability is also not recognized, right? So it creates bureaucratic invisibility from day one. The moment these documents are made for them, whether it is the birth certificate, whether it is the census, whether it is the official records, they have to be categorized in one of the male or female or others, right? It is creating a documentation crisis. The other thing is there is real world impact. Okay, government from time to time comes out with schemes that empower the vulnerable sections. Okay, that is in the pursuit of social justice that we want to have. That is written even in our preamble, right? That is our preambular aspiration. But such kind of impact, such kind of schemes, such kind of welfare schemes rather, are not being focused upon for them, right? This affects their education access, their employment, and their family rights as well, right? So what does the petition demand? We must understand when a child is born in this category, in intersex category, most of the times what happens is there is surgery to align them in a particular binary format, either as male or female. So the petition says that this kind of non-consensual, that is, which is based on non-consent. There is no consent that is being taken by the child or the guardian. It is just that we need to classify them biologically into either one of these. That is why these kind of surgeries are taking place. And there should be a stop to this because it has been biologically determined. It is not a choice. Okay, it is biologically determined, and therefore one of the petition demands is that there must be medical safeguards. That is, they want to stop normalizing such kind of surgeries on infants and children. Okay. Another demand is legal recognition, that they must have the right to be recognized. Okay, only when they are recognized should the rights would apply, right? So it should be separate, it should be distinct for intersex persons in all official systems. They should not be merged, or they should not be just a category that is aligned with or understood as transgenders. Documentation rights have also been demanded. Inclusion in birth certificates, that is identifying them as intersex from birth itself. The birth certificate should not classify them wrongly into either of these two binary categories. Death records and census data. Then constitutional protection. Okay, so even they are the citizens of India, and therefore they also need constitutional safeguards. When they are identified, there should be equality, there should be personal dignity, they should have the liberty to live their life at the fullest and develop it to its fullest potential under Article 21, right? So these are the 4 demands that the petition has raised. Moving forward, this is not just an issue of law or identification, or you could say that it is a question of constitution. What do we uphold within our constitution? What do we uphold? Okay, so we have fundamental rights, and within those fundamental rights, it is the state that must recognize without any discrimination. There should be prohibition of discrimination under Article 15, right? The next article is Article 14, when all persons should be regarded as equal irrespective of race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth. Right? And overall, it also raises a fundamental question in Article 21 whether dignity is being compromised in the case of the intersex persons. Right? So that was all. Thank you so much.